Alright, so the big issue, I did a video on this last week and got a little bit of backlash, not as much as Levi Clay and Jared Dines, but enough to constitute a follow-up video. So the whole miming thing, Lucas seems to be in the firing line, and let me start by saying, Lucas Mann and Charles Caldwell, I think his name's Caldwell, I can tell they are amazing guitarists. I can see that there's talent there, I can see that there's compositional excellence into what they're doing. I don't necessarily like what it is, but I can tell that they're both incredible musicians and they have visions and they can turn this music into something interesting. You will tell by the Buried Alive videos, they are freaking sped up to the bejesus. It is so fake, the guitar sounds are so fake, and it just begs the question, why are they doing this? So I wanted to do some fact checking today. So people are like, oh, you're just being a hater, you're jumping on the bandwagon. I have a mind of my own, I have reasons for these opinions, and one of the reasons is many moons ago, it would have been 2016, I think one of my students asked to learn a Lucas Mann solo, and we bumped into a couple of roadblocks along the way. So what I want to do is I'm going to quickly show you one of his solos. We're just going to do the little sweep section, and then I'm going to show you a tab that goes with it, and then I'm going to try and learn how to play it like a normal human being. Okay, so from looking at his hand position and what I think is going on, I'm pretty sure the song's down a full step. There's something going on, a diminished arpeggio around the 21st fret, and this is what I've got. I've actually got that upper minor third on Guitar Pro. So what I'll do is I'll cut off that harmony. Now it'll just be the single diminished sweeps. It's a pretty cool part. So it's sort of like 30-second notes over a 120 BPM kind of situation. So what I've got here is a pull off at the start, working up to the 21, pretty standard diminished shape. This slide is quite tricky to do accurately, and then we end here, and then we go up a full tone. So we've got a hammer on straight into potentially a slide into a pull off. So that's what I think when I'm about to learn it now, I think that's what I'm going to have the most trouble getting clear. Having this slide here, finishing on the hammer on, and then try to join those there. So I'm going to have a really bad time trying to put this together now. We'll see how I go. Okay, so I'm going to give this diminished sweep thing a crack. I'm in D standard, down a full step, and it's something like this. Now I've just got to play it at 120 beats per minute with 30-second notes. God damn it. Ah. The hardest bit is getting the articulation from the slide and then finishing that hammer on and then going up a full tone and then doing it again. And as I'm doing this, you'll notice that there is pick noise and rubby mitten noise as well. What the hell? So, is it ridiculously hard, or is it impossible to play? Let's watch Lucas do it one more time. So you notice some of the time he's not even going all the way up, it's sort of like, play this. Weird, crazy crap. So, even some points on that, he's not even starting like 1, 2, 3, 4 on the beat. You're not even getting that every time. So it's obvious the dude can play, but there's some cheeky whiz-biz going on. What if I just put it at 120 beats per minute and then just make it look like I'm playing and then play along with a Guitar Pro MIDI? Alright, so that was me giving it a fair dinkum Aussie crack, and I did my best, but there is sort of shortfalls that come from when you're writing with MIDI and you're trying to put things together in a humanized cyborg hybrid context. There's just a point where you just say, is this humanly possible to play? And I would say that possibly to probably not. And I wanted to say something because I had a couple of moments of backlash in my last video. I can look at guitarists like Charles Caldwell from Buried Alive and Lucas and the other guy from Rings of Saturn and say, these guys are incredible musicians. The things that their hands can do, the ideas that are going through their heads, would far surpass some of the things that I think that I am capable of on a compositional standpoint and Also a technical thing. Hats off to them. I can tell that they're incredible guitarists. What I'm taking issue with is putting up, jamming along to MIDI and passing it off as a composition that you wrote and played. Or, this is the biggest thing, is people going, oh, the monitors. They keep bringing up, Lucas said that one of the main issues with his fake video and why he was getting so much backlash, so people are going, oh, well, you know, you're getting a bad mix from the freaking stage, and then this and then that. Okay. Let's say that is 100% valid, and that he's absolutely nailing these sweeps, and what you're hearing is just the loud live MIDI and all of that crap. Don't use that to promote your band. Don't use that to go, hey, come to our gig in Tennessee. Here's me sweeping these arpeggios that you can't hear. Don't use it as a promotional tool. Get into your room, play with your camera audio, and go, hey guys, we've got a show coming up. Here's me actually shredding, not MIDI, and show people what they're going to get out of your shows, because there's some diehard Rings of Saturn fans that, will tell you, I went to their show and they freaking killed it and they nailed it, and, when they weren't miming or whatever it was, there's musicianship there that needs to be validated, and I'm saying yes, I agree. But I did feel like I had to sort of say some things about some of the attacks that were put towards me. And people were saying things like, you're jumping on the bandwagon. Watch Jared Dines' video. Have you watched his? Have you done this? Have you done that? I'm going off a hunch that I had those 3 years ago when one of my students and I were deciding to work on this. I've questioned Lucas's credibility since then. So this isn't just a jumping on the bandwagon thing. This is me having my own opinions and thoughts. And I saw some Buried Alive stuff, and I was like, what the hell's this guy doing? The way that the tapping and the sped up footage in the playthroughs is just like, what is going on here? So that was sort of the first thing I wanted to cover. Another thing that keeps coming up, which is driving me absolutely bonkers, is people like, Guitar Pro is a compositional tool, and blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that, and that. Didn't you know that Bach and Beethoven wrote for other instruments? They didn't have Guitar Pro, but they scribed stuff out. That's basically the same. My question to these people is where do you get off comparing guitarists that are being dishonest on the internet writing with Guitar Pro to some of the greatest musical geniuses and minds that we've ever seen, ever? It's literally like comparing Einstein to Greta Thunberg. It makes some sense to me, but I don't believe that it's entirely valid. So the last thing I wanted to address was the notion that I have this tall poppy syndrome thing, and that I need to cut down other musicians to feel good about myself. This has happened to me constantly throughout my career. A lot more since I had started my YouTube channel. When that started to grow and my content increased from being this nervous, dorky dude sitting in his bedroom kind of making some things and talking to a camera, a shitty laptop camera. And then I was like, I can get on camera. I can be charismatic. People give a shit about what I say. I've got 100,000 subscribers now, blah, 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 blah. When I started to get my confidence and really believe in myself and what I was doing, people were like, screw that guy. He doesn't deserve that attention. Why aren't I getting it? And people were trying to cut me down. And I never want to be looked at as the kind of person that needs to feel good about himself by cutting down others. I'm all about lifting up other people. I'm a very, very honest and moral person. And that's one of the things that I want to be able to see when I look in the mirror every morning, is a guy that my son can look up to and a guy that my students and peers can look up to. So it really, really, I don't want to say it really hurts me because it's quite dramatic, but it really, really got to me that someone would say, that's why you're doing this, because you're jealous of what they can do. Now, I will say that I'm in a moment of jealousy or in admiration. They've achieved great things. They're probably making a lot of cash. Good for Rings of Saturn, good for Buried Alive. I'm just saying, from my standpoint, if there is a degree of dishonesty, someone needs to call them out on it, and that was what this video was about. If you're still angry and you want to defend them and have your own feelings and opinions, I'm just one dude, and in the grand scheme of things, what I think doesn't actually frickin' matter. This is just, something entertaining, something to think about. If it spurs a conversation, good. I hope this doesn't come across as a malicious attack. I just wanted to point out some things that I noticed, and wanted to show you guys possibly some things that might be occurring on the instrument that are impossible. I hope you guys all have a lovely day, and I will catch you all in the not too distant future. Bye.